welcome to Tuesday night, September the 5th, 2023. This is the David and Chuck show here on Enet Sports and the Tuscola Football Network, brought to you by Crompton's Auto Mart and, of course, Orchard Coffee, 39 Depot Street up in Waynesville. And, Chuck, I know you had about four or five cups of Orchard coffee today as we spoke through today.
But I'm going to make sure it's my game day coffee and it's my Saturday morning show coffee. So I'm going to have
That's right
until I can get a large supply of it.
That's it. And before and if you need me at the shop tomorrow, you need to call Frankie and get him to get in touch with me. I'm going out and I'm going out buying for the next 2 days. We're going to fill the lot up. So CromptonAuto.com, we are going to be busy trying to load the lot up. Big deal Friday, Chuck. You need to come down. We're going to have pulled pork. We're going to have ribs. We're going to have Janet's homemade baked beans and potato salad and slaw. And the issue with me is I can only have about 5 ounces at a time. So I'll enjoy watching other people eat the food, but we'll have a good time and we get ready for Swain. So how's it going so far this week, Chuck?
Real good. A lot of great games this weekend. Capped off by that great game last night at Duke. Surprising ending. So, it's been a good week of football.
Yes. And we had a good time down there Friday night. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. We're going to talk about the Mountain 7 in particular with kind of go over last week with some of the Mountain 7 stuff and talk a little bit about the games coming up this week. So, what do you think, Chuck? You want to talk last week in the Mountain 7? Do I need to pull it up, or have you got it there in front of you?
Yeah, let's roll any way you want it. I've got all my information right here.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, we're gonna get really fancy right here. Watch this, folks. Watch this right here. First thing we're gonna do, hold on. Is we think we're somebody. So let me see if I can do this without messing everything up. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna go to there. There we go. There's the Mountain 7. There is the Mountain 7 standings. There's no conference games being played. So there we go, Chuck.
Let's go over week 3 results then. Obviously, Tuscola 44-22 winner over McDowell County. Pisgah was a 42-14 winner over visiting Hampton, Tennessee. West Henderson continues to roll. 48-6 winner over Polk County. Then again, North Henderson continues its winning ways with a big win, 44-7.
Say that again about North Henderson because you cut out again.
Okay, North Henderson was a 44-7 winner over Owen. Then you had Swain County beat Franklin 40-13, and I just, I'm trying to get a lot of information or any information on what's happening down there with the Panthers. TC Robertson beat Smoky Mountain 35-7, and Hendersonville clubbed East Henderson, which we thought could happen, but at the same time, we didn't think this score could happen. They beat the Eagles 50-8.
Yeah, and wow, we're already into week 4.
Right.
Man, it's flying by. So we go back to what we talked about before the season and through the first 3 weeks. Everything right now, I think at this point, everything goes through Mills River. I think everything right now goes through Mills River with the Falcons of West Henderson.
I agree. Defending conference champion, ran a deep playoff run, has a lot of explosive weapons on the offensive side. They are putting up big numbers, and until someone knocks them off, you got to perch them, in the Falcons' nest on top of the Mountain 7 conference.
Yeah, and Coach Witt's doing a great job, and they got some players. And again, for me, I've got a little advantage because I know a lot of those kids. I know most of them and who they are. If I don't know them personally, and look, they can run the football. They got those two kids that nobody saw coming last year. They got the two kids that can run the ball, and you got Truett Manuel, who is just special, just special. And they did him a little bit like Coach Nolan did Jonathan's senior year. They just said, "Hey, we're going to put you at safety and make plays." And I think he picked off a pass or two the other night in the Falcons' big win. So West Henderson is a good football team, Chuck.
Well, coach got the explosive power, got speed, and they know how to win. And that's the
Yep.
important. They're very, very confident team. And if you got any element of some athletes or some tough-minded football players, and they're confident, you can put that into a winning formula throughout the whole season.
And then you've got the Bears on the other side of the county here in Haywood County, 3-0, playing really well. Again, I don't. We do this show and we talk about a lot of things. I don't know a ton about them. I know Brett.
Right. They have. This is Brett's 11th year, and at Pisgah High School, and he has his system, his DNA, his fingerprint on that program. They know how all the players know how he wants them to play. And the terminology, the system, defensive side, the play calls, all that has been in place at Pisgah for 11 years, going into the 11th year.
Yeah.
So Brett, again, Pisgah is going to be a tough opponent for anybody to play them. They're going to play hard for 4 quarters. They always have.
Yeah.
They're going to tackle on defense. They always have. And then they're going to balance their attack, and they're going to strap it up, and they're going to come after you on the offensive side of the ball. But here's the thing, and I'll say it again, remember this name, Walker Fox. He's good enough to where they attempted a 58-yard field goal at Inca because he was trying, his brother Mason Fox kicked for and went on to play for is playing in the Padre organization. And so he's an outstanding kicker. He's got a big foot. He's 6'3", about 180, 185 in that range. And he's got a big foot and he's accurate. And if he can, his range is somewhere around the 50, 51, 52, solid. He can, anytime you get inside that 30, to the 35-yard line, you start thinking at least we'll get 3 out of a drive. And that's what makes him dangerous.
Yeah. And hey, big, our story, my family's story about kickers. So having a good kicker can make you a really good football team. Having a kicker that gets a lot of kicks blocked and misses can make your life miserable. But I digress. We'll keep going on. North Henderson, 3-0. Again, don't know a lot about them. I know that they're well coached. I know he does a great job with them. Don't know a lot about their. I've not really gone back. We talked about their schedule last week. I don't. I'll pull it up here real quick, Chuck, and let me see where we're at. They're 3-0, and they have played Hendersonville. Let's see here. They've played Hendersonville, Rosman, and Owen. So Hendersonville, I don't know ton, but Rosman and Owen are in a very downward spike right now in their cycle. Both of those programs are literally starting from scratch. So they're 3-0, but here's again, you don't know a ton about them. I don't know. What do we really know after 3 games? And they're open this week before conference.
Right. Most often after 3 games, you can pretty much who they are. We know
You
that.
are who they were who we thought we were.
Yeah, well, we heard that one before. Here's the thing: they played three teams that are down: Hendersonville, Rosman, and Owen. Although Hendersonville took East Henderson to the woodshed last week and scored 50 points, but they did what they were supposed to do against a weak opponent, and that is they scored out right out of the gate. They put points on the board. They played
Yeah.
solid defense and had a huge lead going into the fourth quarter so they could empty their benches. So they do have a solid core and a good unit and a great coach who will make them play sound fundamentally.
Oh, look, he's going to make them play. Now, there's no doubt about that. He will make them play.
North Henderson will get their first big test to see what they are and who they are coming out of the open week, because their first opponent in conference is West Henderson, and they host West Henderson.
Yeah, and they will learn a lot then. We will
Right.
find out about who they are. Smoky Mountain Mustangs, 1-2. Cherokee, Swain, and TCR. So they've had a pretty tough schedule. Played a big win over a Cherokee team that plays hard. They're short on numbers. I saw them twice in 7-on-7s. Cherokee is a team that people in Western North Carolina, you better keep your eye on in the future, because that guy's going to do a great job and get more kids out. Swain County, they won 14-10. I mean, they lost 14-10, and they lost to TC Robertson 35-7. I guess, look, they're still trying to find their way,
Well, Smoky's had trouble putting points on the board now after playing Swain and TCR. So they came out and they put 34 points on the board, which kind of surprises. We thought maybe they were going to struggle at the quarterback spot, but when they played Swain, they played strong defense and lost that game 14-10. So they only put 10 points on the board. The following week, they played TCR at home, and Robertson just hung 35 on them, and all they could muster was that 7 points. So the trend is not favorable for Smoky right now. So although we think we know who they are after 3 games, we might need a game or two for Smoky to see exactly who they are. And unfortunately, they have 2 road games back to back at Murphy, at Pisgah.
And, Chuck, I think that your theory this season, after 3 games, you might be a game or 2 off. Sorry, Godfather, but I will have.
I've been off before. I think I've been off all my life, man.
Well, yeah, that's for later on in the show.
Yeah.
And then you've got Franklin, the Panthers, and I am a big fan of the Brookses. I don't care what their record is. They're going to play hard. They're going to play physical. You know what I mean?
Well, that's Franklin. I mean, when you lose about 90% of your production from last year's team to graduation, and you're looking towards the JVs and first-year varsity players to step up in key positions, the learning curve may take a little longer than the 3 games.
Yeah.
But this is, I think, one time where, even though they'll play you hard and
you cut out again, Chuck, when you're over there defending the world against the batters. Sometimes you cut out, but they've got an open week this week, and then they've got East Henderson and then the Mountaineers on the 15th and the 22nd.
Right.
But again, they are going to play hard.
Right.
And they will get better because they are well coached.
Right.
And East Henderson.
You're looking ahead for Franklin, Pisgah, West Henderson, Tuscola. There's 3 right there, and they're 0-3.
Yeah.
And to look at Franklin and say they have a chance of being under 500, I don't know when that's the last time that's happened.
Yeah.
But it's not, and if it's happened, it's not too many times that it's happened in Franklin. Yes, they'll play hard. That's the DNA of their coaches. The Brooks brothers do a great.
Absolutely.
But
You bet they will play hard.
but the
And
bottom line is still 0-3,
yep.
and got to do something about it real quick.
And then East Henderson. East Henderson's played North Buncombe, Andrews, and Hendersonville, and they're 0-3, but that's not Murderers Row that they've played so far. And it might get tougher. Now they've got Owen this week, and then they've got Franklin, West Tuscola, North Pisgah, Smoky. So it just gets tougher for them. So Friday is their opportunity to get that first W, and then I think after that it's going to be a little bit before they're able to play in these things. Here in
this the game of football, you just have to look at one stat on East Henderson, and that is their defense is averaging 50 points a game, giving up 50 points a game.
Yeah.
And that puts stress on your offense when you're trying to keep up. You're going to be in a shootout, and if your offense isn't proficient in running on and hitting on all cylinders, it's going to be a long Friday night. So they really, before you start turning the tide, you got to cure the defense. You got to shore up some of the defensive woes that you got.
Yes. And now that brings us back to the Mountaineers, and let me see if I can do something here, Chuck. I put the schedule up for this Friday, but I'm going to take that down. We'll talk a little bit about last Friday's game. And we really covered a lot of ground Saturday with this game and in detail. But there we go. For those of you that are interested, and apparently some are, which is a good thing. Miss McCracken, I promise you they're working real hard to make sure that they're available. I give you my word. As for the other folks out there that I'm trying to think of the word I want to use. Apparently not. Does that sound good? Yeah, apparently not. So anyway, 14 first downs. They had the ball 12 minutes, 57 seconds. Again, we go back and we talk about Polk. Polk did a great job of understanding that they needed to keep the Mountaineer offense off the field. And go ahead.
McDowell.
Yeah, excuse me, McDowell. I apologize. And there's the stats there, Chuck. You can go over.
Well, I mean, you kind of look at the passing yards they did. It wasn't a really a lot of aerial attack. They were real efficient in the passing game, 157 yards, and the total team rushing was 212, 14 first downs for that game against a team that their only mission was to have their offense, win the time of possession, and they did an excellent job. Fired up, came out emotionally charged, and the game believing in their game plan, and they executed the game plan to near perfection in the first half as both teams went in tied at 16. But it was a different story in the second half because they couldn't generate the same enthusiasm for what they were trying to do. They didn't make it didn't appear that they made a lot of adjustments. They still were going to go in that tight set, tight end and wing, and they were going to pound at it. But when you have guys like Jackson Sutton, Bledsoe, Mitchell, and Gardner that are out there, winning the battle in the second half, they did an excellent job in the second half. That allowed, guys like Blackburn and Saeed Jackson and Purvis and Al Barron, and even KJ Vang had some great hits in that second half. So it got a little physical for the in the contest, but the hits were issued by the Mountaineers. So there you see the sets, rushing tack.
Yes.
There, Jed West.
It was physical, but the offensive line, Chuck. I go back and say, the kickoff return to open the half in that short 27-yard drive for the touchdown early in the third quarter. But then when the 3 and out and got the ball back, in the offensive line, they went to the 2-back set, and they just said, "Okay, stop us if you can," because
I,
this is and it wasn't a scheme thing. It wasn't we're going to out scheme you. It was we're going to line up. We're going to see if you can stop what we're going to do, and we're telling you we're coming. And boy, did those kids up front play well.
yes, they did play well. And that was David Bowen, Odie Garrido, Stephen Brooks, Josh Kruger, and then the puppy on that offensive line, sophomore Alex Caldwell. Those five guys played outstanding, not only in the run game, opening up the holes, putting helmets on the defenders, but they kept their quarterback upright and clean and not having to be pressured out of the pocket. And that enabled him to hit two big throws. And those two throws kind of sealed the game, and the momentum back, stayed with, or not back, but stayed with Tuscola, and they were able to then start running the ball, more efficiently. And it just seemed like the white flag of surrender came out of McDowell at that time because they knew they couldn't catch up to the offensive power of Tuscola.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that again I've probably said it 50 times since Friday with McDowell is the even we hit the two long balls, but I believe they wanted to keep five spot. They wanted to keep five spot from being a player. They wanted to because he is going to be good. Jonas is going to be, I think, special in this offense and what they've asked, what he is asked to do. And in game 3, I guess they watched the film of the first two games and said, "Hey, 5 will not beat us," because they bracketed him when we did have the ball, which wasn't long, and they said, "Look, other guys are going to beat us, but it won't be 5."
Right. And
And
unfortunately, they had no answer for the receivers, and especially in Bryant Owencia.
You like that kid, don't you?
I love that kid. Look, if nobody jumps on him, I got a place for him. My alma mater. I've already told the coach up there, called him up. I said, I got about 5 guys you may want to recruit. But anyhow, I'm sure schools will come after him. But the bottom line is all these guys we mentioned, the skill positions, the quarterback, the running backs, Van Vang, Jonas Harris, and Owencia and Saeed Jackson. These guys are able to do what they do because of the guys up front on the offensive side of the ball.
Yes.
And I spent all day just, Bowman, Garrido, Brooks, Kruger, and Caldwell. That you just know them like that. This is a very good offensive line that Coach Austin Sluter is doing a fantastic job. And what I saw was everybody got to, have their stats built up because those offensive linemen, which, linemen, I learned this, offensive linemen, when a guy hits a touchdown, it's 57 yards, they take it as it's my 57 yards too. So they take ownership in the stats that the skill guys get. So they're just, they're excited. But Tuscola's got good guys up front.
I think so. I think so. I do. And let me get us here where I can see you a little better. There you go. There. Oh, now we've changed our little moniker from today. It said me. The other day it said retired. And then one day it said something that you probably can't see on here that other people didn't want to see. You change it quite often. So a big one coming up Friday. 2 of the most storied programs in the state. Swain, a tradition that goes. You don't have much more tradition in high school football in the state of North Carolina than Swain County.
Right.
You just don't. And the Mountaineers, again, one of the storied programs in this state, and I think it's going to be really fun to see these two get together. Coach Holt, Sherman. The first day Sherman walked on the football field as a termite. I saw him get his equipment for the first time. I handed him his shoulder pads, in the little equipment room over there at Irwin. So, I've seen him his whole life. Know the family well. they played with they played together with Jonathan over there at Irwin before uh, we left, and it's going to be kind of exciting to see what happens because they're good. They're good.
3-0 Swain County coming in, folks. I mean, I know the football team, and I think I know the head coach. They're 3-0 for a reason. They have they're very good, and play sound football on both sides of the football. So, what is needed is a packed house.
Yes,
pack out well.
And
this is going to be a battle against a 3-0 team. And this is a big game because it's the last non-conference game, and to go into the conference slate, into the bye week, and then the conference slate 3-1 is going to be what Coach Bill Belichick, Jonathan Crown, wants to do.
Well, Chuck,
did you like that I sent you?
You're both killing me tonight with your internet. You need to know that both.
Yeah, my internet's lagging.
Well, my internet's always lagging.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Oh, you got the Oreo one.
All right.
You got it?
Yeah. So, and I know you got a lot going on, Jonathan, and I thank you for taking a few minutes just to be here with us. And I know that Chuck is glad that you're here, and because let me do this. So we are. So, Chuck, do you want to ask him a question about the upcoming opponent?
Yeah, well, I don't want to ask. The game plan is what do you expect out of the Swain County?
Okay, hold on.
What the? For use only to be shown to authorized personnel. Am I not authorized personnel?
Yeah, look, that was good. That was good. You have to give us that. You got to give me that. So anyway,
good.
My moniker is going to be from now on authorized personnel.
Apparently not. But
so what are you looking for?
Yeah.
Here it is. It's Tuesday, and we're 3 days. We're 3 days before the game. You like where you're at with your football team?
Yes. I'm debating on if I should be honest or
well, that was in code. Yeah, we are. We were just talking at CIA.
Okay. My internet's very lagging right now.
Okay.
Well, mine's not. So again, the game plan stuff.
Yeah,
we don't want to know, but how 3 weeks in, Jonathan? Chuck asked.
I'll say this: I'm very impressed with our team and where we're at. Nobody, and I don't care what anybody says, nobody runs the type of system we run. We run more than a college offense. I promise you, nobody around here does. I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm gonna stop being politically correct, and I'm gonna be honest about everything that we do, and how good our coaching staff is, and how much our kids have bought into what we do, and how much I ask them to learn instead of learning 4 plays. I'm just gonna be as honest as I can be about it. Our kids have busted their butt to learn a system that is more complex than a college offense rather than 4 run plays. I'll just say it that way.
Great.
But
I saw that in the McDowell game. The second half was a completely different.
And here's why. Ask anybody that's coached against me in the past. You don't know what we're going to do.
Right.
I literally run I run versions of what we do week to week. So it's nothing new. Swain doesn't know what we're going to run. They can watch all the film they want. They don't know what we're running. And in 4 weeks from now, they won't know what we're running. And that's not me being arrogant. That's just the reality of what I do offensively, genuinely. So our kids understand that. Our kids have bought in. They understand that they got to learn daily, not the first 5 days of practice. So that's what's encouraging to me is our kids are eager to learn, not just be told what to do. They want to learn football. I had 3 kids today come up to me and go, Coach, when can we sit down? I would love to just be able to learn more football, just actual football, just learn schematics. And one of them being Josh Kruger, my right guard / tackle, wants to just get together on a Saturday or Sunday and just go over football schematics. Like you can't teach that. You can't you can't teach that want because they understand that I know football. Now I'm not the smartest man in the world. I was smart enough to learn from people smarter than me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's what's encouraging. So I can promise you this: I can't guarantee any games. The football falls where it falls as far as injuries or fumbles or the referees make calls or whatever. But schematics, nobody will ever out scheme us.
Got it.
Good.
Are you,
So,
well, I was going to ask, are you healthy? But yeah, you would say.
I mean, let's call it like it is. After the first day of practice, every team in America is as quote unquote healthy as they'll ever going to.
Will you do that again, Chuck? Will you ask that question one more time?
Yeah, is that I was going to ask you if you're healthy, but you would say yes anyhow.
Well, no, it's one of those. I mean, like I said, at every level of football, after the first day of practice, that's as healthy as you're going to be all year. You know what I mean? So I would say we're healthy for a week 4 matchup, but every team's always going to have nicks and bruises and tweaks, and you know what I mean? That's just
right.
Unfortunately, that comes with the game of football.
Right.
That after the first day is the healthiest you're ever going to be.
Well, we're going to let you go. We're going to wrap this up, and then we're going to talk a little college football. And before you go,
you're going to talk to Dookie Blue Devils?
Well, now hold on a second. I'm excited about that, but hold on real quick. First of all, how about those Vols? And Saturday.
Oh, those uniforms are going to be so nice.
But the uniforms, yes, but the reason that they're wearing them.
Yep.
One of your mentors.
Yep.
One of the best humans, one of the greatest football players that's ever graced the field in Neyland Stadium is Condridge Holloway. And just one of the best people that I've ever met. And I know when you were having the time your junior year when things weren't going well, he was there for you when a lot of people weren't. And I know that you've never forgotten that.
Yeah.
So, and they're playing that Saturday in honor of Condridge, who was the first black quarterback in the history of the SEC, and just a phenomenal human being and a great football player.
Yeah, no, it'll be fun this Saturday for them. They're playing Austin Peay at 5 p.m. So that'll be fun. But like I said, the uniforms are I love them. I know there's always going to be people that don't like or whatnot. I like them better than the 2-tone smoky gray they did last year, the year before, whatever, in the past. But then, like I said, the reason behind it is even better. So looking for a great atmosphere down there on Saturday, that's for sure. First home game of the season, even though they played in Nashville. I mean, it's not a home game, but it's pretty much a home game. But first home game in Neyland this weekend, so that'll be electrifying, especially after it. And I like to joke about it, but after Clemson losing, we're going to jump up a few spots in the rankings, I would assume. I don't know. I'm assuming that came out. I have no idea.
Yeah, we're going to do that in just a minute.
Well,
if you could tell me, what did Clemson fall to?
25.
25.
Oh, that's crap. They should be out. No. I'm being serious. Y'all want to talk football? I'll talk. Y'all caught me on a good night tonight. I'm actually in the mood to talk schematics. If you want to talk reality, I won't say any names or point any fingers. And the one in the middle here, Sent those numbers today. Duke has 2 4-stars. Clemson has 56 4 or 5 stars. Right?
Yes.
People last year wanted to say DJ was the problem. Well, if people want to go, they played San Jose State. What's the difference in San Jose State and Duke and when it comes to football? Not basketball, but in football. Historically, genuinely, what's the difference? Not a lot outside of the conference saying ACC.
Right.
So DJ going out and doing what he did this week proves, and I'm not taking anything away from that Klubnik kid, but proves that just because people coach football doesn't mean they know football.
Right.
And I will go to my grave believing that. They went with the hype factor of the fans and the status and benched him because the fans were wanting the Klubnik kid. I'm not saying he's not going to be good. That's not what I'm getting at. But he wasn't. DJ was not the problem. It proved last night. Because if Clemson's supposed to be Clemson, you should beat Duke by 21 points in week 1. Once again, that's the healthiest you're going to be all year. You playing on the road at, what is it, Wallace Wade? Is that their stadium?
Yes.
At Wallace Wade Stadium, hey, there's no shade on them, but it's not like it's a deafening crowd. You know what I mean? It's not 75, 85, 100,000 people. Now they have a good atmosphere for the size stadium. It's not like they're playing at Vanderbilt.
Right.
But
good Lord, what is when you are just throwing down tonight?
No. I'm just being honest. Because when we play at Vanderbilt, it's a Tennessee home game, and everybody knows that. So that's all I know is, and it's not a slide on Vandy. It's just we have more Tennessee fans in the state of Tennessee.
Typically,
they came out with the ACC rankings of stadiums of 1 through 14. Duke was like 13th. So all I'm trying to get at is it's not like they're not playing at Florida State, or NC State, where it's a deafening crowd. That's all I'm getting at. It's still a good atmosphere for the stadium. If you're supposed to be Clemson and you're supposed to be that good with a coordinator that went to the national championship last year at TCU, that you got rid of the guy Streeter before, and you blamed and got DJ in the portal, and then you go lay an egg, not a chance. To me, not a chance.
Well, I saw DJ play against San Jose State this weekend. Watched the game just purposely to see about DJ, and he was magnificent.
You know why? Opinion, but also not an idiot. When you're coached and you're taught and you're believed in, that's what happens.
Right.
So people can say hey, listen. People can say all they want about Dabo this, Dabo that. I don't know the guy personally, but I also have been around the game long enough. It's a lot of fluff. It's a lot of fluff around that program. I'll just say that. I've been around a program that went from the top to the bottom real quick. It's a lot of fluff. Hey, they may go 11-1. I have no idea. I don't watch them play. But I can tell you this. They're going to struggle again. I'm assuming they're on the schedule, but if they got Florida State, get your mind right. Because that receiver, number 4, Michigan State kid, he pretty darn good.
Neon Coleman.
Yes. And so what I'm saying is, like, to me, the definition of that game, there's 3 minutes left in the game, 3:21 if I'm not mistaken exactly. And it's 3rd and 10. Everybody knows Duke's going to run the ball because you want the clock to keep running. You're up 14. So, Clemson, you got to get a stop. Make them punt. 2-minute drill, go score onside kick. Not undoable. And they just run simple. Guard, tackle, counter, left, and house it from 40. That right there says all I need to know about Clemson this year.
Well, can I interject real quick, man? My biggest problem was not the ball game. My issue is after the fact. All I've read for the past, now I guess 24 hours or so, give Duke credit. They played their butt off. All I've read is Clemson, and I'm not throwing off on them. But I'm just saying, come on, man, give Duke credit. That is a
Hey,
good. They're going to be a good football club.
Hey, but this is where I was having this conversation this morning. Elko inherited, what was the numbers? 41 points a game, and the yardage per game was like 125th out of 133 in the country. Year one instantly goes down from 125 to 56, and then goes from 41 points a game to 28. That's with the same ball club that was there under the previous regime. That's an accomplishment. You can tell he mentors these kids. So at least what it looks like from my point on the outside. The running game.
Can I, before you say that, let me tell you, you and I know more you than me. And Chuck, you know who I'm talking about. Trooper Taylor is the running back coach. They are going to play hard. They are going to play well, and they are going to play with enthusiasm because Trooper Taylor is one of the finest coaches in America.
But I'm going to tell you that running game, God almighty, they run hard. Hey, the quarterback didn't have the best completion percentage, blah, 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 blah. But you know what? He made plays when it mattered against a top 10 team, right? Because like we've talked about, and we're in a group text, we have these discussions and debates. It's hard to, I mean, yes, at the end of the year, they'll be judged, Duke will be judged on how well Clemson does throughout the year. But at the moment, they still got a top 10 win. Later in the year, it'll be, was it a top 10 or not? We don't know. But for them to do that at home on Monday night.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do right now. I've waited all day for this part. Chuck, talk Clemson and Duke. And then as well as you're doing that, my friend, let me do this because I think I'm fancy now. Mm-hmm. There's the top 25.
Yeah.
I can't see them.
Top 10, Georgia, 1, Michigan 2, Bama 3. They took Florida State and put them 4 and dropped Ohio State after that 23 point.
I'm not mad at that.
Nah, neither am I. And 6, USC, 7, Penn State, 8, Washington, 9, Tennessee, 10, Notre Dame.
The only thing I would say, and this is not because I'm a Tennessee grad, I think Tennessee should be a little higher than 9. I mean, that's just my opinion. Once again, not saying that in the old, what's that, the Homer or whatever.
Do you bleed orange?
Yes. I like the Florida State jump. I do. I really do. Ohio State is still yet to be proven, but then again, let's call it it's still Ohio State, right? Once they get it figured out. But like we just talked about Clemson and Duke, Ohio State should go in there and beat an Indiana team by 30 or more. If you're Ohio State, kudos to Indiana for keeping it under that. What was the other ones? I can't see them.
Well, you had after Ohio at 5, you had USC, 6, 7 was Penn State, 8 was Washington, 9 had Tennessee, and 10 was Notre Dame.
See, I would almost, and this is just me, I would almost have Washington above USC. I really would, because listen, USC can't play defense. It's just what it is. They can score with the best of them though, but their defense is yet to be proven. So I would personally, I think Washington State should be 1 or 2 spots higher. I think Tennessee should be 1 or 2 spots higher. I'm not sold on the Penn State that high.
Right.
At the moment. That's just at the moment. I'm not saying they're not a good team, but I just don't think that they're above a Washington or a Tennessee at the moment.
Well, go figure, because 5 of the top 10 are Big 10 plus 18 and 3 are SEC. So I guess Big 10's better conference.
Oh, my God. Yeah. I knew it was coming. It was coming.
Well, no, hold on. It's okay. They're a better conference until they get to the playoffs.
Okay. We win the preseason and the first 10 games, 10 weeks. Listen to me.
You know what though? The Big Ten, I know I'll give you a hard time, Chuck. The Big Ten is going to run through Ann Arbor. Those two
Exactly.
running backs are studs. I'm talking about like dudes, both of them. It doesn't matter who's in the game. You better be ready for downhill, smash mouth, but can break it. And then their quarterback's deadly off of play action. So to me, I genuinely think the Big Ten runs through Ann Arbor. I think they run the table in the Big Ten. I really do. The one that I'm honestly out of the top 10, I think Michigan has a better chance than Georgia at the moment just because of experience at the quarterback position. Nothing other than that.
Is that quarterback back, young Mr. Well, he's young Mr. to me, but back the quarterback is a fifth-year senior. Is he just a type where you can plug and play him?
Who? Sorry, I lost you.
The Georgia quarterback that's a fifth-year senior, first time ever starter.
Oh, Beck.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say you can plug and play there, mainly because, you know, they did lose their coordinator. I know Bobo's back, but used to, yes. I just don't know. I hadn't seen enough of them at the moment because I know Bobo's kind of branched out from what he used to do when he went to Colorado State and then Auburn and South Carolina and now back. So he's kind of changed a little bit of what he does. But I don't think that they've just got – I think what's going to hurt them, they got the best tight end in the country, hands down.
Right.
That dude should be – if he was not a tight end, he'd be the number one pick in the draft 2 years ago.
Right.
He's that good. Eventually, since they don't have a guy out, like an actual like dude out wide, I think teams are going to be able to start double covering him because now they don't have Washington back at tight end. So they're going to have – I think they're going to be a little unproven in that sense. But if anybody can do it, I mean, heck, they're back-to-back national champs for a reason.
Right.
I'm not sold on them is what I'm getting at. I think Michigan's got a better chance than them at the moment. Unfortunately for Tennessee, they play so late. It would be almost better for Tennessee to play Georgia early before he can get more game experience.
Isn't that the next to last game of the regular season?
Yeah, like it's down in there. It's deep.
Yeah,
Which, hey, for football, it's a good thing. But for Tennessee, you would rather it be earlier, like middle of the season, before he has a chance to really get in a groove.
Let me keep going down the list here because we're going to get him down here, and I know Lloyd's down there in New Orleans, right on the lake. I don't know how. I just don't know that LSU. Well, they got thumped by Florida State. I did not see that coming.
But now, listen now. No, understand, Florida State, and I'm not saying Florida State's back, but this might be the best Florida State team we've seen in the past 10 years.
Well, since they won the national championship with that.
Pretty much. With Jimbo.
Chuck, what do you think?
This might be the most talented Florida State team since then.
I know it is the best Florida State team that we've seen in probably 10, maybe 15 years. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
They've got a chance to run. If they run the table in the ACC, they're obviously in the playoffs. If you get in the playoffs, anything can happen.
I do know that I want to wait and see. Like I have that 3-game theory, 3 games, and we'll know. We want to see, of course, in college, it's you're playing cupcakes, early on in the season, so we may have to wait on that. But Florida State, I'm not sold on the quarterback, but they are the ACC's best contender, seeing that my other one went down. But I just give them time and let's prove themselves and see if it's just a 1-game wonder or if they are legit back. I can't say that right now.
And then Texas and Alabama play this week. Going to learn a lot there. You got Utah.
Hey, I'm gonna go ahead. People may call me crazy. Texas may get them.
No.
I think Texas has the advantage at quarterback. the only reason why I say it. Everywhere else, Alabama's got the advantage, but Texas has the advantage at quarterback.
All right.
And then you've got
I don't think
Utah, which is a good football club. You've got Oregon, who I think, the Pac-12, this is their last year. And you've got Southern Cal, Utah, and Oregon, and that are really good. And again, at 16, 15, you got Kansas State. And then 16, you got Oregon State. So, the Pac-12 has four of the top 16 in the country at this point, ranking wise. Then you got the Tar Heels, which beat down South Carolina. And don't talk about the ACC, SEC, Chuck. I don't want to have to do a Flint on your house. I love you too much.
Okay.
But I'd have to Flint you.
Okay.
And then you got Oklahoma, which really laid the wood to Champions for Life. Watch his face there, Jones.
Butch Jones.
This guy, he probably needs to go and do something else for a living. And I don't ever talk about coaches or players, but this guy, the stuff that he said after the game it's embarrassing for the program. At Arkansas State. Then you got Wisconsin, which is going to be really good. You got Ole Miss with Lane. You got Duke at 21. And again, I get it that Clemson lost, but Duke beat their teeth in.
Yeah, Duke came out there and played their game.
Give those guys credit.
Quit talking about
Clemson losing, talk about Duke winning.
Because of their coach. Don't sleep. I'm telling you, don't sleep on Duke. I'm not saying they're going to win the ACC, but they're going to be there to make a little bit of noise. They are.
You agree with that, Chuck?
Yeah, I think Duke's a very good team that can, on any given Saturday, can take down an ACC team in the.
Chuck's a very good team, and then you cut out again. Chuck, you cut out when you said very good team.
Duke's a very good football team. They're well coached. That goes a long way with me. They're more well coached, and they play within their abilities. He understands what their abilities are, like Jonathan was referring to. Elko is got the pulse of that team, and they're not going to go do something that other people do because they can't do it. He's going to do what they do, and they're executing the best of their ability. So that's the type they're going to, and they just hang around.
Guys, all the time. Listen to this. Duke's schedule. You ready?
Yeah.
Lafayette, Northwestern, Connecticut. They could screw around and start 4-0. Then they got Notre Dame. Anything can happen. But Duke could mess around and be 4-0 if they play their cards right. My internet's lagging again. I can't get the rest of them.
Notre Dame quarterback, the Notre Dame new quarterback, lost to Duke last year and played a really bad football game. So, what a quarterback can make a team go. And just remember, kid's quarterback in that Notre Dame, he didn't play well against Duke last year.
But so guys, all right, so they got Lafayette, Northwestern, Connecticut, and Lafayette and Northwestern are all at home. They don't play road game until September 23rd at Connecticut. Notre Dame at home, NC State at home. Guys, they play 5 out of their first 6 at home. They could screw, and that, so the other one, so they go Notre Dame, then NC State. NC State's winnable for them. Florida State is their toughest opponent of the year. Florida State and Notre Dame. Then it's Louisville, Wake, North Carolina, Virginia, Pitt. Duke, if they go out there and play properly, Duke has a chance to be 2 years ago Wake Forest, making noise to knock on the door for a New Year's Six Bowl.
Right. Where's the Florida State Duke game at?
It won't make a difference.
At Florida State. Well, I mean, Florida State, here's the thing. Florida State is the better team, but you only got to be the better team on that day.
And then,
if Duke comes in there screwing around, if Duke messes around and goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if Duke is 5-1 going to Florida State and they're ranked 15th, hey, anything can happen.
And that brings us to the 22 ranked Colorado Buffaloes. And I'm taking receipts as we're sitting here right now, Chuck. I'm taking receipts, Chuck.
Yeah, he's taking receipts, all right.
Hey, like I've said this whole offseason, y'all can love him, hate him, whatever. He doesn't lie about it. He's honest with the kids. People go, oh, well, he told these kids he couldn't play here, blah, blah, blah. Well, at least he told them in January, not June. Like, I'm not being rude when I say that. At least he was up front by saying, hey, I'm having kids come in. Lane Kiffin did it December 1st, 2008. He did the same thing. It's just the day of social media. It's out there now. But at least he was honest with the kids and said, guys, y'all should probably try to transfer because I don't think you can play here. You cannot argue that because at least he was honest with them and wasn't rude about it. Yes, he is flashy, but by God, he has those kids back. He trusts the kids, and by God, you can tell the ones that are there at least genuinely like playing for him.
And he has surrounded himself with great football coaches.
Yep.
Right. I will say
him getting a head coach at Kent State to step down to be the offensive coordinator is tremendous because that dude's going to be good.
Well, through the weekend, I had 3 that I told David I was wrong on. And I thought, man, I might be wrong a whole lot this season because if I'm going to be wrong on 3 already. The LSU one where I was about ready to make the futures bet on them winning the Natty, thank goodness I took that money and kept it in my pocket, told my wife I'm not losing that money now. I was wrong on LSU. Way wrong. I was wrong on Clemson. Way wrong. But to be as wrong as I was on Colorado, they may not lose one. They may only lose one game. I said they would only win one game and start the season 0-5. When after the first quarter against TCU, I went, oh no, this is not what on paper, reading articles, that's why you got to watch him play. And total wrong. I mean, so I'm 0-3 early on in the season. Hopefully I can redeem myself down the road, but I was wrong on Colorado, wrong on LSU, wrong on Clemson.
Well, let me ask you this, Jonathan, because Chuck's keeps coming in and out. It's only one game, but we learned a lot in that one game. Are they a legitimate contender? I'm not for the national championship. Are they a legitimate contender in the Pac-12?
Oregon State?
No, Colorado.
Oh.
Is Colorado a legitimate contender for the Pac-12?
Well, we're going to find out real quick. If they beat USC, then yes. So they got Nebraska. I can't remember when they got USC, but they got Nebraska. Once they play USC, we'll find out. Because I genuinely think USC defense, no. Now, they may put up 65 on Colorado, but I think Colorado can put up 66 on them. I do, and I've said that the whole offseason. I'm a believer in what he does. Genuinely, how he goes about himself. Yes, he's flashy, blah, 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 but, man, he treats those kids with respect. He treats them like grown men, and he doesn't lie to them. So I hope so, to be honest with you. I would love it. But I'm looking at real quick. I'm looking at Clemson's schedule. Dude, Clemson, okay, dude, fine. Charleston Southern win. Florida Atlantic win. They're going to start 2-2. They're going to lose to Florida State. They'll beat Syracuse. They'll beat Wake. I don't know about Miami, NC State, Notre Dame, Georgia Tech, North Carolina, South Carolina. They don't have a hard schedule. They really don't. So they're going to screw around and pull to Georgia and have a very weak schedule. And next thing you know, they'll be 10-2. But they're a bad 10-2. Tennessee exposed them being a 10-win season last year in the Orange Bowl.
Let me interject before we, conclude the show.
We're going over. We're just going to go over.
Well, look here. Before the season, you could have done that with Clemson and said, at Duke, win.
Yeah, could start. I agree.
Right. If they play that bad, there is going to be an ACC team that you gave a W to Clemson to that could rise up.
And honestly, Wake Forest could be the team. Miami could be a team. Clemson, in all honesty, I think they're an 8-14. Now, if you go 8-4, is that horrendous? No. But if you're supposed to be a perennial powerhouse, but see, a lot of people nowadays don't remember. Like when I was growing up, I was a Clemson fan. They were horrendous. You know what I mean? I remember when Clemson really used to be bad. A lot of these kids don't realize how bad Alabama used to be when I was in high school. Nobody wanted to go to Alabama. So now they've turned it around so that all they know is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 win season. But what happens when they go 8-4? Oh, now the university gets upset. Dabo may be on his way out, gentlemen. And I'm not saying anything.
They're not going to let him go, but I will tell you, and we've had this discussion. I think
they may force him to retire after.
There is a shelf life for everybody. Dabo will end up in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. You heard it here first, people.
No, he won't. I don't. You know why?
I'm going to make
No,
this.
let Chuck talk. Let Chuck talk. Hold on. Go ahead, Chuck.
This is the prediction. It might be a year or two, could be a little bit longer. When Saban retires, do you know what coach who's now everybody's looking at as the wonderful coach who he trained under Saban? Mike Novell at Florida State. Mike Novell will be the Florida State, or will be the Alabama new head football coach when Saban steps down. He trained under Saban. He trained under Saban, and in prime time goes to Florida State, his alma mater.
What are you shaking your head for?
Prime time up at Florida State.
Hear me out.
All right.
Who have we talked about a good portion of this show?
Duke.
Dabo.
Duke, right? Somebody said Duke.
Yes, right. Duke.
Where did Mike Elko come from? Texas A&M. So he's already learned the Saban way, and he's a defensive-minded coach. There's your next Alabama coach. Watch.
Okay, I can see that.
And the reason why is he is anybody, dude. Florida State, a Tennessee, a Miami, a Southern Cal, a Michigan. Those types of perennial powerhouse school names are not. It's not easy, but easier to turn around because of money. Duke is very hard. What he's done in a year and a game at Duke is almost unprecedented for Duke.
Right.
He's already shown he can be a great leader of the kids, mentor. There's your next, because why would he want to leave Florida State? Florida State's a dream job. Florida State's a destination job. Lane Kiffin learned the hard way. You leave one destination job for the next, they'll fire you in a heartbeat.
That he did.
And that's what I'm just saying, like, you can leave Durham, North Carolina, and go to Tuscaloosa and upgrade. And that's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but I like this dude at Duke. I genuinely do. And it falls right into the line of what Alabama's done. Hire a defensive-minded, hard-nosed head coach, get you a solid, very solid, way above average offensive coordinators, and run the ball down your throat. That's what Alabama's always done. What is Duke doing? The exact same thing.
Right.
That's the reason why I think Elko would be at least a top 3 candidate when Saban's done. What I think happens with Dabo, personally, Dabo is Dabo's bigger than the governor of South Carolina and Clemson.
Yep.
When it's time to go, and they go, Dabo, we've had enough. We're done. We're not going to fire you. We're going to come to mutual agreement. You're going to step down, and then next thing you know, he's going to do the Stoops at Oklahoma and be a mentor to the program and the front office and advisor to the program, and never leave South Carolina. Why would you not do that in today's world? Because you're going to go somewhere else, have to rebuild, build your culture, or you can stay around and then come ask you for the advice like Coach K did at Duke. That's what I think happens with Dabo. because I think he stays in Clemson, just not as the coach.
Because
As
hey,
an-
look,
as an
look.
advisor
At
to-
the end of the day, you have to give him. Hey, look, he built that program into
Oh, 100%.
above elite.
That's what I'm saying. So to me, and it's just me, the risk of going somewhere else and possibly ruining your reputation as a coach, because maybe you go somewhere and you can't win, is not worth the reward of anybody being able to say that you couldn't. Right? I mean, or not the reward of that, but the reward of going, oh, well, you can. That risk ain't worth it. You stay in Clemson and you go, hey, I built this. I was here for, I got the head job in what, 2009?
No, before then.
I think it was
It was
7.
either 8 or 9. It might be 8. I think it was the interim in 8, and I think it was the head coach in 9.
6 or 7.
No. I don't think
Harper,
it was 6. But either
the
way,
Harper kid was still the quarterback.
He's been there for what, 16 years? Roughly? As the head guy? He's made enough money. He's averaging $9 million a year. That's just my opinion. If I'm him, I'm not risking it.
Right.
I'm gonna take my butt and live on my lake house at Lake Hartwell and be an advisor to the program,
Right.
and never have to worry about ruining my coaching reputation. That's just in my opinion.
So, before we get off here, rate the conferences. Chuck, I'm gonna put you on the spot, my friend. Rate the conferences as after week 1. This is because that's a big deal to people.
I have SEC 1, Big 10 plus 80. Well, no. After week 1, we're banking on this year. Number 1's the Pac-12. They're undefeated.
There you go. At the moment.
Undefeated.
At the moment.
So if we're going on this year, number 1's Pac-12. Number 2 is Big 10 plus 72, and then the SEC 3, and the Big 12 is 4. And I can't remember who I'm missing here. That's 5. That's 4. What am I missing? Power conference.
Apparently not the ACC.
Oh,
ACC's last.
oh my God. You living right there.
No, Chuck, I agree with it. Pac-12. If you're going by this year alone, Pac-12's won.
For week 1.
For week 1, Pac-12 won. I'm at a torn between Big 10 and SEC here. I genuinely don't know. I think you could flip a coin this week. Honestly. This week, that's what I'm saying. Like, just for this week.
Yeah.
So those are 2 and 3. I don't think you go wrong either way. I would go. It hurts. I would go ACC over Big 12, only because of Florida State and North Carolina.
Right. Well,
I think those two opponents they've played outweigh Oklahoma's big win against Arkansas State.
You know, all the things that
No, I'm being serious. Them and with them and Duke's win, but but just North Carolina going out of conference, right? Playing big there, and Florida State, man, they both of them going out of conference and beating teams that people said they didn't have a chance at beating. That's why I think the ACC beats the Big 12 this week, because of those two teams.
Right. Duke just doesn't have gravitas to, they're going to have to go to week 10, 9, 10, and do away with some teams and say, okay, hey, they're really good.
Hence Wake Forest 2 years ago.
Right.
Because like we talked about all year, we're going, when's it going to end? When's it going to end? And it didn't really end until the last couple weeks of the season. You go, damn, they're really good.
Yeah, I was confident the whole way through the whole season for Wake Forest. So I was just steady and said they were great.
Yeah. Well, I was rooting like crazy for them. I mean, genuinely, I loved watching Wake. I still, me and my wife still watch Wake Forest games.
Yep. I love it at Wake Forest. Hopefully Wake can recruit some kids from Haywood County. Love
There
to
you go.
go follow them and everything. But anyhow, I wanted to bring up before we closed it, I wanted to bring up the thing insider that people may not know.
Yes.
I went into college football stats, CFB stats at .com data. And, they come out and said that this would reduce this running clock, through up to the last 2 minutes of each half. They won't stop the clock on first downs. And if players go out automatically out of bounds, they keep the clock running. This year, so far, 1 week, the 0 week they had, we've only reduced it by two snaps. Each team having 2 less snaps than they did from last year. And the NCAA playing rules oversight panel predicted that it would trim 15 plays per team per season or per game. 15 plays per game. And so far it's just dropped 2. I think as it goes, I think they're playing higher tempo football. And I think, that they're passing because it does stop on incomplete passes. So, but it's interesting that so far after week 0 and week 1, it's down 2.2 snaps per team. I told David, I said, I love it because, games are getting just over three hours and, those no longer those 3.5 hours because of commercials. You got to take commercials out of it. They pay for it, those long commercials. So anyhow,
well, apparently, Chuck, they don't pay enough because I have Spectrum, so I didn't see many football games this week. So apparently, they don't pay enough.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I can't answer for Disney. I said a while ago is that ESPN and Disney combined lost $8 billion under the umbrella of that corporation, and they shuffled it off to Bally Sports and said, "You eat it." Now Disney, what I found out or learned was your $6 of your subscription goes to ESPN, Disney, and all that. They want any in the area of $25. So they want to more than quadruple the subscription for just Disney and ESPN to help cover the cost.
Well, while we're here, and I will say this. The only thing that I think ESPN is good for now is to watch the live games. The rest of it's garbage.
Right.
It's garbage. I personally haven't watched SportsCenter in 6-7 years.
Right.
Because it's garbage. It's garbage programming. It's garbage content. But they do a great job with the games.
Right.
And you give them credit for that. But every other thing they do is crap. To me, it's just, but that's just me. I'm not speaking for the other 2 people here.
Can I mention another thing?
Hold on real quick, guys. My battery's about to die. I got to go.
Bye.
All right. I'm going to throw you out. See, hey, good luck this week. Good luck this week. And we'll see you Friday.
Yep.
Okay, Chuck. It's just us. He's gone.
Okay. We can talk about him.
Yeah. Talk about his back.
Ohtani hurt his oblique in batting practice today or yesterday.
Who did?
Ohtani hurt his oblique in batting practice. The batting practice pitcher threw an inside pitch, and it was down his knees, and he ripped up like this to avoid it. And when he did, he hurt his oblique.
Don't be talking about Ohtani.
Okay, I won't say any more then. I'm just telling you. Happy about it. Telling you.
And he's going to be a Dodger before it's over. But anyway, Morgan Smith said, "Hey, Chuck, it's great to see you." William Dacus, I've read everything that you've said tonight, my friend. I love you and I miss you. And Chuck Morgan Smith said, "Hello, great to see you."
Well, thank you very much.
So anyway, we'll be back Thursday. David Hall said he likes your hat.
Well, David Hall's got class. I know that. I know David Hall, and I'll get you one if you want it. Just tell me your size.
And
You can walk around Waynesville real cool.
look at, but anyway, Chuck, big week coming up in high school football in the Mountain 7. We're going to talk a little bit we'll talk a little bit about the coming week, and I know you'll do some more scouting on Swain and the opponents that are the games in the Mountain 7 for Thursday's show. We'll talk a little bit about MAC football. Don't sleep on the Robertson Rams. The TC Robertson Rams can run the football. Do not sleep on them, because Asheville High, I don't know a lot of details, but something is not right now, over there right now. They're struggling a little bit, and I'm not. Everything runs through Reynolds, but man, something tells me that those Rams are the real deal. And my Warriors, I'm still a Warrior, and all my teammates. Don't turn your back on Coach Pruitt and the Warriors, but I think TCR is going to have a lot to say about the MAC.
Well, I envy you, because I'm a Flint Southwestern grad, and it's now a juvenile detention center in Flint, Michigan. So I don't have an alma mater anymore. But I did want to tell you about the guy I think will be the key to the victory for Tuscola.
Okay, but before you do, I thought you were going to say that you stayed at the Holiday Inn Express.
No, I can't afford that. So
go ahead.
The guy I think is going to be the key is the special team kick returner, Cooper Williamson. I think Cooper, what he did against McDowell and several kickoffs, and hopefully that Swain kicks off only one time come Friday night. But if they do kick off more, I think Cooper Williamson, that he's like a jitterbug. You ever see on the lake that little jitterbug that moves all over the place? He'll find that little crease and just shoot right through it, and he'll give great field position to the offensive team, if not take back one to the house. If he takes one back to the house, he houses it on the kickoff return, Tuscola wins the football game.
That's it. And we'll all and we'll drink Orchard coffee from downtown Waynesville while we're riding around in a car from my place. How's that? That's pretty cool. But Chuck, thank you. I know we ran a little long tonight. We didn't expect Jonathan to be on with us, and I never knew that Jonathan was so honest about things. So
I tried to text him. I forgot that he has me on his directory with the name. I tried to text him and said that I was Bill Johnson from the Asheville Citizen Times trying to do a story about, the preview for the Swain game. And he said, Chuck, I know it's you.
Any parting words, my friend, before we get together Thursday?
Travel and be safe. Pisgah fans going to Hayesville, please be safe traveling.
Yep.
And root out the Pisgah Black Bears and jam up and pack it at C.E. Weatherby Stadium, Brooks Field, and bring the crowd and be loud, because they're going to need it. This is going to be a tough football game for them.
Yep. And we'll see everybody Thursday night at 7:30 to get everybody ready for Friday and all the tailgating and all the good stuff, and hopefully a victory Friday night for the Mountaineers. Chuck, thank you as always, my friend.
All right, buddy.
And the retired sports editor, at least he's got, sometimes it's retired. One day it just said me. So thank you guys. Have a good night. Chuck, I'll see you later, bud. Have a great evening. Be safe down there at the casino.